The House looking to impeach Attorney General Merrick Garland. New details in the Hunter Biden investigation. And GOP leaders headline a parental rights conference. Florida Congressman Byron Donalds joining us this morning. We got a lot to get to, sir. Thanks for joining us. I want to start with the Hunter Biden investigation. IRS whistleblower Gary Shapley revealed they were stopped from taking investigative measures even after finding evidence he says that should have led to more serious charges. Now, you say Hunter was acting as a foreign agent, and even someone like Paul Manafort went to jail for less than this. What is the GOP prepared to do at this point? What does accountability look like, Congressman?
Well, these are great questions. Let me start with accountability. We're going to continue to handle our investigations and do them the way we've been doing them the last several months. You got to understand, none of this information was even known by the public until we took back the majority in the House of Representatives and started doing real investigations and real oversight. And that's how we've gotten to where we are right now. We're going to continue to follow the evidence. And if the evidence leads to where I think it's going to go at this point, that the investigation was stonewalled by the Department of Justice, that, in my view, is grounds for impeachment for Merrick Garland. You have a head of the Department of Justice who was slow walking these investigations with the political brass at the IRS. And then you compound that with the fact that you have U.S. Attorney David Weiss, who is saying he had all the authority. But when you go and look at the detail that Mr. Shapley and others are reporting, that even David Weiss knew that he was being stonewalled by Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland wouldn't let him become a special prosecutor. Merrick Garland wouldn't let him bring charges in California, a jurisdiction out of David Weiss's jurisdiction of Delaware. And so if you have the Attorney General stonewalling and slowing down these investigations, that is obstruction of justice, and that's an impeachable offense.
What do you make of Attorney General Merrick Garland saying under oath that Weiss was allowed to bring these charges against him and that Weiss just didn't do it? It's on him.
Well, that's why we feel that Merrick Garland's got a lot of explaining to do, because he did say that under oath. Meanwhile, you have the supervisory investigator at the IRS saying the opposite, and that they were being blocked from doing their job. And even David Weiss told them, with 6 other people in the room, that he was being blocked from doing his job. And there's only one person that can stop a U.S. attorney from bringing charges and doing more investigative work, and that is the Attorney General. So we'll see where this leads. And let's not ignore the White House in this, because you can't tell me that the president's son is being investigated to such a degree by the IRS, and yes, by elements of the FBI and David Weiss at the Department of Justice, and the White House counsel does not know, the chief of staff to the president of the United States does not know, that the president of the United States doesn't know. They all know. This is a cover-up of one of the greatest scandals in American history. And frankly, you guys are reporting it, and I thank you for that. But it's a cover-up by big media, and I believe that it is a cover-up at the White House and the Department of Justice.
Congressman, we also still have out-of-control inflation. The central bank says more rate hikes will continue this year. Many economists, though, say energy policies are key. And I looked at one of your tweets recently where you said it is time for Congress now to pass nuclear energy policies. What led you to being one of the leading voices for nuclear power in Congress?
Well, this actually came about when I was doing a lot of investigative work with ESG policy in our financial system, which is highly destructive of our financial system. These ESG standards are a joke. They're highly political. They move the goalposts all the time, and they expect businesses to be able to reset their operations to comply with what some feel are important measures. But the reason why I felt I got into nuclear is because you could clearly see that nuclear energy was being ignored by capital markets in a lot of respect out of fear, because you had various elements on the left side of our politics who think nuclear is dirty. That's a joke and it's ridiculous. And then you have a lot of the dogma from 3 Mile Island and Chernobyl that's still in our federal agencies. So if we want to increase baseload power in the United States and make sure that you have cheap and readily available energy for the American people, nuclear power is the path forward. In my view, for people who believe in climate change, nuclear power is the Green New Deal, because it doesn't emit. We can do it here in the United States. We don't need other countries to do it. And we can provide all the necessary electricity to our grid for people who believe that we should be driving electric cars and the like.
Florida Congressman Byron Donalds, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for joining us this morning. Have a good weekend.
All right. Thank you.